Lesson number 8, powers of 10 and the zero exponent. So I just want to create a little chart here just to show you something really, really interesting. So let's talk about exponent 5. Okay, power, right? 2 to the 5. So our base is 2 and our exponent is 5. 2 to the 5 means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? We can end up with 32. So let's repeat this pattern going down. Exponent 4, exponent 3, exponent 2, exponent 1, exponent 0. So 2 to the 4, 2 to the 3, 2 to the 2, 2 to the 1, and 2 to the 0. And again, repeated multiplication. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 2 by itself is 2. Okay, now before we get to the last bottom line, let's look at the pattern here in standard form. So 32 goes down to 16. So we divided by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, keep that same pattern going. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So what does that mean? Okay, well, look, we have the exponent of 0. So our power is 2 to the 0. And what's our answer going to be is 1. Ah, so what happens when we have 0 as an exponent? Our answer is 1. So 2 to the 0, 1. 7 to the 0, 1. 1,637,211 to the 0 equals 1. Oh, that's cool. Now look at brackets. Negative 2 to the 0, 1. Negative 1,000 to the 0, 1. Now, the only time this is going to change is when you have negatives out the front. See, these were in brackets here, but what if we have negative 2 to the 0? Now, remember, the 0 goes with the 2, not with the negative. So 2 to the 0 is 1, and then the negative in front makes it negative 1. 32 to the 0, and there's a negative in front, but that's by itself. So 32 to the 0 is 1, and that negative in front makes it negative 1. Negative 7 to the 0, hey, that's in brackets again, so the answer is 1. Negative 7 to the 0, it's not in brackets, the answer is going to be negative 1. Oh, it's going to be tricky now. Negative 3 in brackets to the 0, but there's a negative out the front. So the negative 3 in brackets to the 0 is positive 1, and then we multiply it by the negative in front, we end up with negative 1 there. Okay. Simple rule again, but if you get it wrong, it creates a lot of trouble for later in math. So remember that anything to the 0 is 1 unless there's a negative in front. Okay, flip the page. Let's go to powers of 10. So powers of 10, 1 million, right? We know how to write 1 million. 1 with how many zeros? 6 zeros. Oh, we can write it as a power. Means 10 to the 6. Hey, where'd that 6 come from? Well, there's 6 zeros there. So we end up with a 6. And this means 10 times 10 times 10, 6 times, right? You multiply it by 6 times. So 100,000, how many zeros are there? There's 5, so 10 to the 5. 10,000, 4 zeros. 10 to the 4. 1,000, 3 zeros. 10 to the 3. 100, 2 zeros. 10 to the 2. 10, 1 0. 10 to the 1. 1, how many zeros? None. 10 to the 0. Oh, okay, yeah, we know that rule. Anything to the 0 is 1. So there's another way that proves it based on powers of 10. Okay, now we can take a number and we can break it down into different components. So we want to write 3,452 as powers of 10. So the thousands is the 3, the hundreds is the 4, the tens is the 5, the ones is the 2. So then we can write, oh, how do we write 3,000? Well, that's 3 times 1,000. How do we write 400? 4 times 100. How do we write 10? 5 times 10. And how do we write 1? 2 times 1. Now we want to break this 1,000 down into a powers of 10. So 10 to how many zeros are here? There was 3 zeros, so 10 to the 3. 4 times 10 to the 2. Remember, there's 2 zeros up here. 5 times 10 to the 1. There's 1 0. And 2 times 10 to the 0. Because how many zeros are up here? None. Okay, so let's do another one here. Write 6,030 as powers of 10. So we break it down, 1,000, 100, 10, 1. So 6030. So 6 is 6 times 1,000, 0 times 100, 3 is 3 times 10, and 0 times 1. It seems silly to write in the zeros, but we use it when we write out all the pieces to this question. So 6 times 10 to the 3. Where did we get 3 from? 3 zeros. 0 times 10 to the 2. Where did we get the 2 from? 2 zeros. 3 times 10 to the 1. Where did we get the 1 from? 1 0. And 0 times 10 to the 0, right? Where did we get the 10 to the 0 from? Well, there's no zeros up here, so that's just 1. Okay, so that was lesson 8. Now you can work on practice number 8.